Boozed and Bothered on occasion may contain content that readers and listeners find offensive or distasteful. The views and opinions expressed on this podcast or on the articles on the website are solely those of the individual authors, speakers, and or guests, and do not necessarily reflect the views of Boozed and Bothered as a whole or the views of any of Boozed and Bothered's affiliate or parent companies and organizations. Enjoy the show.
France has banned guns.
They haven't hit a single target. All they've hit is children.
Now they're rolling down the street with a fucking Panzer.
You wouldn't just jump in and get all up in it.
And all of a sudden, you both take like 3 steps back and fucking look at me like I'm a weirdo.
Ice-T was coming to pick him up.
18th century relic, my fat fucking ass.
They're locking up the detergent.
Can we not take a turn as conspiracy town, please?
I feel like there should not be 1,000 people on the freeway right
Why the fuck not?
Knowledge could be anything. A nuts and
Do you think police brutality is an issue?
Oh wait, we're putting tinfoil on.
That's coming in through the bum.
now. I'm straight white male.
Derp, derp, derpy, derp, derp.
I'm not gonna get boozed and bothered about it.
Cheers to that.
Did you say West Wing?
Yeah.
Love that show.
Yeah. Have you watched all of it?
No, I haven't watched
You
all
watched
of it.
all of it?
I have watched all of it.
It's a wild ride. The last season's just mad.
I haven't watched any of it.
It's honestly, it's really good. We talked about this before when I was talking about Aaron Sorkin.
It
He's
starts
my
off
favorite
like
liberal. One of my favorite liberals.
yeah, it starts off like kind of like really wonkish, and it never really goes away. But they do get better at being funnier as they go.
Yeah, they pick up stride, and
Is it supposed to be funny?
yeah, there are definitely a lot of like purposeful comedy parts. It's
Okay,
in
okay.
turn comedic and really serious.
Okay.
Really, I feel like there's less of a political message, funny enough, in West Wing than there is in Newsroom, because Newsroom is supposed to take place like in reality, so they're reacting to things that really happen.
Yeah, every
and, like,
season
news
comes
stories.
out a year off.
No,
right?
it was like 2 years maybe in Newsroom. But it was only 3 seasons. But they dealt with like not Exxon Valdez. What was the next thing?
Enron?
Deepwater Horizon.
Deepwater, yeah.
They dealt with that. They dealt with the Casey Anthony trial, the Boston bombing, the
Note that
Obama getting elected the second time.
Yeah.
the
note that we
2012
call
election.
it the Deepwater Horizon rather than the BP oil. spill.
BP oil spill.
That's
yeah,
that's a
I
good
couldn't think of
marketing.
the-
That's
yeah.
a good marketing strategy right there. If I ever.
Yeah. Good point.
It's very true. It's very true.
Way to put those billions to work.
Yeah, because Deepwater Horizon is very buzzwordy. It's
Yeah,
very,
people are
It's
like,
catchy
oh
as
my
fuck.
god,
They were
oil.
hanging out in like a marketing
Yeah,
department.
It sounds like Pacific Rim 3, Deepwater Horizon.
Yeah, the whole marketing department was in the war room, and they were just like, "What do we
Not
call
our
this?
name.
What do we call this?
Anything but them. Well, because that
Blame
was the
the
name
rig.
of it was the name of the rig.
Yeah,
Blame the rig.
yeah,
yeah, totally. It was totally worked out well for them.
nailed it. Absolutely nailed it.
Yeah.
It's a great name.
Yeah,
Sounds like a movie or a video game you could play.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Hey, Sean.
Play it.
What's up?
I hate to do this to you, but can you grab me the Jamie because
A little light.
I made this a little too weak.
Gotcha.
Thank you, buddy. But taste this though.
Okay. This is oh my gosh, Jameson Shandy.
Kind of.
So the studio.
Oh, there's almost like a. I feel weird saying it, but there's almost like a banana hint to it.
Yeah.
Is it just me?
Yeah, it's just you.
So the studio is moving in a couple
Oops,
weeks.
That was too much.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Because you're moving in a couple
Yeah.
weeks.
I'm real excited. We're gonna set
How
up
far away?
Just
How
gonna
far
keep
away are we
that
gonna have to
Jameson right
drive?
just it's like 4 minutes, if that.
Where am I gonna send my receipts?
Yeah, it's pretty much just right there, right off the grid.
Cool.
Yeah, right by
That's
the
exciting.
hospital.
And we'll have like our own dedicated room, huh?
Yeah, I'm gonna set it up to be a full-fledged studio.
Are you gonna do with like a computer with cameras?
Yeah, eventually, yeah.
Backdrop.
We're gonna get lighting. We're gonna get. I'm gonna start building out lighting rigs, and all that, and and we're gonna start, doing the damn
to
thing.
that.
Cheers to
I
that.
support this.
Motherfucker. What are we drinking?
Yeah. Thanks
Sean,
for
what are you drinking?
beating me to it after I spilled all over my.
Yeah.
So, I am.
So much for those coasters, Sean.
God damn it! I am drinking Belching Beaver Peanut Butter Milk Stout. It's delicious. What? What do you want?
What do you have that like crinkle in it? Is that how you drink beer?
It makes it come out of the can easier. Huh? Yeah.
Never in my life. It's already got the wide mouth.
I just thought he was swole. crushing cans.
Yeah, it's just like, I can't help it.
I went to the gym today.
No, yeah, it's a pretty delicious beer.
It sounds delicious.
I discovered it a few weeks ago, and ever since then, I was at the grocery store and I was minding my own business and looking for a beer.
How do you do that at our grocery store?
What
I run into people all the time.
are you talking about?
You're talking
How
right
do you
up
mind
the
your own
street?
business
Yeah.
at the grocery store?
Oh, I was at Grocery Outlet.
Oh, on 17th?
In Capital.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't really know anyone there, but
Fair enough.
and I've been on a bit of a scorched earth budget. And number one, I don't know why I don't shop there more often because it's dirt fucking cheap.
Oh, yeah. It's pretty amazing.
I'm like, why do I keep going to Safeway? I own a bike. I can get to that grocery store in
yeah.
like 3 minutes, which is the same amount of time it takes to walk to Safeway.
I feel like you just have to do a little more digging there to find the good stuff.
Yeah. Well, what I always do when I walk into a grocery store is I get the layout first, so I'll circle the store, and I'll just look down each aisle and
Wise.
read the sides.
Yeah.
And then from there, I'm like, and then for some reason, my brain just remembers. It's like, okay, I know where everything is.
Yeah.
Like,
oh my
just, like,
God.
wandering.
Wait, is this how it's supposed to be done?
no, I'm a fucking engineer. I do weird shit.
Listen, I just
Mapping it out.
I just discovered grocery shopping, but on the internet.
What? Oh.
Yeah.
thanks.
Yeah. So you've been
Amazon
grocery-
Fresh?
You've been
Or
yeah,
Prime.
Yeah.
No,
Amazon
Prime Now.
Prime Now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
Okay.
don't have Amazon Fresh yet
Yeah.
in Sacramento. We have
Okay.
Instacart.
Yeah, but
Um,
we don't. I don't know that we trust them. Didn't they just have a bug thing going through?
I don't know. I think it's more with their deliverers than it's with their shoppers. Instacart was great. I mean, I used them when I lived in Seattle. It was incredible.
Well, I'm really liking Prime now. Like the grocery shopping that my parents are very proud of me.
I'm proud of you.
I buy
You're like
groceries.
making food and cooking and stuff.
Yeah, I'm doing that. It's really
I know.
It's a real weird thing.
That's why I got married.
I think. Oh well. You know.
Why I need to do that.
Way easier.
Listen,
Yeah, but
but
like-
I'm moving in that direction, right? This is
Yeah.
part of growing up.
Yeah, you're
Absolutely.
You're gonna find your husband soon. You're gonna.
God, where is he?
Yeah. Somebody's gonna come out and be like, he does grocery shopping. He
Yeah.
cooks.
I feel like
I gotta wipe him
Charlotte.
down.
Okay,
Yeah.
I've been dating since I was 14. Where is he?
He's
I'm just
coming.
kidding.
He's coming.
You watch your mouth.
No, Johnny. You're building
Listen,
up.
I'm grocery shopping. Okay, these
Yeah.
are adult steps.
No, it's fine. Nobody's
it-
mad about it. We're
But
proud of you.
But I honestly don't know what I'm doing. I don't really have like a method. I just go in and I'm like, well, what did I get last time? Do I need more of that? Which is a method, I guess. I'm growing. See,
yeah.
expansion, and then I just
Absolute
click on it,
methodology.
and then I have them deliver it at a reasonable time.
Never shop hungry.
Never
no.
shop
Number one.
hungry.
Oh no, I don't do that.
No.
But this is like a weekly ritual thing. Like I do
Yeah.
this, I set it up, I put my thing in, and they go and bring it to me. And
See,
I
I
like that too.
can't do that. I can't do the
like I have
weekly-
produce in my fridge right now. It's weird.
I know.
That is weird.
I can't do the weekly thing. I can't do it.
What do you have
because-
to just do? Like whenever you need it?
No,
you
I
just
do
go
it
and
every
get
couple
it?
days because if I do a weekly thing, then I end up buying too much, and then stuff gets lost in the mix, and I
Yep.
end up like wasting
Yeah,
food
you have
because
to
it
put
rots.
something in the back, and then
Yeah.
you forget about it, and then you find it in a
Yeah.
month, and it's really
And like
gross.
these are older fridges, and so the thing I hate about this fridge is that the crisper is not a see-through drawer. So sometimes I
You don't even know what's in there.
I forget that I have things in
Yeah.
there, and then I open it up, and then it's like a culture farm.
Yeah. So gross.
Yeah.
Well, that's not good, Sean.
No, it's not. So I try not to buy too much stuff that has to go into my crisper.
Yeah.
So what
mean-
what are you pointing at right now?
Robert's
Oh,
fine.
what are you drinking,
Yeah,
Robert?
I'm drinking a Zinfandel
From?
from Miner's Leap Winery. It's the winery that I work part-time at now, and our wine's delicious.
That is
So,
delicious.
Yeah, right now it's a Zinfandel from Lodi. Last time
So
I was
good.
drinking a Pinot Noir.
Nice.
Yeah, both of
It
them.
is. That is a very delicious wine.
It is
Because
delicious.
you let me taste it a bit
Yeah, I've
ago.
been sitting on it for well over a year now. We stopped drinking wine because my wife got pregnant, so
Oh,
I was
yeah.
drinking a lot less.
Yeah.
So now we have way too much wine.
You and Russell should start trading.
Yeah, no kidding. His stuff's super good too.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him in ages.
I saw him twice in the last week. Walking over to the dog park, and he's just outside smoking. And so sometimes you'll see him, and he'll cross the street to come say hi.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you doing good?
He's doing great.
Good.
I mean,
We should get Russell on here.
we
Oh,
should.
yeah.
We should get
I would
Russell
love
on.
Russell on here.
I love talking to him in 2016 because until the election day, he was 100% convinced that Hillary was going to take it. Every time I would see him, I would ask, "Do you think Hillary going to win?" He's like, "Yeah, 100%." Absolutely. No doubt in my mind. It's like, all right, man. It's looking a little weird, but whatever you say, dude.
Listen, I don't want to put him through it again, but I will say that Matt and I did skip into the bar, and he was there on election night, and it was he wouldn't sit with us for about an hour, but then eventually he came around, good sport, because. But we went in there, we were like, "Hey, Russell, how's your life?" And then we were like, "Let's get beer."
You definitely went in on him.
I know we did, but we can't help it.
I know.
Okay, and he was a good sport after that first hour. He was like, "Don't talk to me," and then he was like, "I'm hanging out with you guys, but I don't want you to talk to me." And then 20 minutes later, we were all like a little boozy woozy, and we were like, "Ha ha."
Started off with that. Okay, so here's the thing about all this.
Yeah.
6 drinks in.
Yeah. I promise not to get all political.
Yeah.
I am the Senate.
I like the meme where it's like
It's
after-
treason
yeah,
then.
6 beers later. Like, Kevin, why do you fucking hate poor people?
Yeah.
What are you drinking, Johnny?
I'm drinking a whiskey sour.
Oh, whiskey. You've been drinking a lot of those lately.
Once you open the bottle, you got to get through it.
Yeah. I have a shaker
That's
here. You
not
didn't really
true.
have to bring that with you.
Yeah, but I had the grocery bag.
Okay. That's fair.
He's prepared. He's adulting all over
Yeah.
the place. He can't help
Yeah.
it.
Well, I'm also
It was
trying to
it
be
was
He's
my
helpful.
lunchbox.
infecting
I
us
just-
with his adulthood.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to be helpful.
But yeah, so
I'm trying to be a good host.
it still feels a little weak, but I'm not really good at weights and measures.
All right, sure. That's fair. I mean,
I'll make another one.
Yeah. You got to get one of those little jiggers.
I have a
Oh, I
jigger.
do. I have several.
Yes.
I was just gonna wing this one. I've measured them all week, but today I was like, let's be loose and fast about it.
Sometimes you just got to move fast and break things.
Yeah.
Classic
So
Wednesday
fun.
night.
Classic Wednesday night.
I also refilled your ice bin.
Who's that?
Jesus, you're adulting all over
Oh
the
my
place.
Jesus!
You can't help it.
Did you seriously?
Look at that.
Oh my God!
Somebody needs to marry you right now.
Yeah.
Domesticated.
Hey, everyone! Please, just send an email to info@boozedandbothered.com. There's a pic of Johnny on the website. You can look at, and if you're interested,
My long flowing black hair.
yeah. If you're
Isn't
interested,
there a show 90 Day Bride or
Yeah.
whatever? 90 Day Engagement. We can make it happen.
Yeah.
I mean,
Any?
there's some hot people that
That could
hate
be
our
our first
posts.
live
I'm down
event.
for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I
Instead of
do you
raffling
look
off,
at the photos?
Of course I do.
I don't.
instead
I
of
can't get
raffling
past
off
it.
tickets to a con, we'll raffle off
Sometimes
tickets to the
anger
wedding
makes
dates to
people look
Johnny.
real. Oh,
Johnny dates.
okay.
Oh, but my idea of having people drink with us was too far. But a date with Johnny,
I never
That's
said your
fine.
idea was too far.
he did.
Oh.
Well, because I'm emotionally distant.
So a date's just right.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to drink with you, but if you want to fuck, that's fine.
Whoa! I am a lady these days.
Sorry, if you want me to suck you off, that's fine.
Wow, buddy. I've never said that
after
to you.
dinner. Maybe you've said it in my presence.
I've given you presents that said that.
No, not the other kind of presence.
Oh, it's the whiskey.
Yeah,
That's
I
cool,
think
bro.
it's strong enough.
That's cool, bro.
All right,
Well,
Sean,
guys,
bring us
I
in.
want to thank you all. Welcome you all
You guys
to
are so dirty.
Doshi.
Dirty.
I
Wow, maybe I should stick to water.
Yeah, it's gonna be one of those episodes.
want to thank everyone and welcome you all to Boozed and Bothered this week. I am your producer and co-host, aka Daddy, Sean.
My name is Jonathan, and I'm your host.
And my name's Robert, best friend of the show.
Best friend of the show at this point.
Right, baby.
Yeah, I think he's got the record for most episodes.
Yeah.
Killing the good.
Yeah, the audience wouldn't know, but we know.
We know.
We know.
We're letting the audience know.
That's
Yeah.
right.
We're here to inform
Yeah.
and troll
Yeah.
a lot.
We do not. Okay, we don't aim just to troll, although it happens.
Yeah. I feel like the last week's episode was it was all in the picture that got people heated up.
Yeah, we got a lot of interactions.
A lot of vitriol.
Yeah, it was
A lot of
vitriolic.
commentary.
That's good though. I like that. I'm here
Yeah.
for that.
We want people to be engaged, and if you're angry, we want to hear about it.
Yes.
Maybe
definitely.
work on your spelling and your grammar a little.
No. We don't ask for spelling from people.
I do.
I do.
It's tough to understand.
I don't.
Here's the thing I don't
I'm
understand.
here for you people. Okay, you can
I'm
be
not.
illiterate on the internet.
Here's the thing I don't understand. What's with people, and have you ever seen the people where they never use a period, they always use a comma, but before they end their sentence with their comma, they put a space before the comma? Like, have you ever seen that?
Yeah, I think it's just like they're just railing it off so fast that they're not thinking at all because they think they're going to keep talking and then they're like, no, I'll just end it here with a comma.
I don't understand that. You're on the internet. You literally have time to construct an argument.
No, the thing that kills me is when people will end every sentence with an ellipsis with 3 periods.
Oh, that's
every sentence.
You know what's worse than that is when it's the ellipsis, but it's also with the space before and the
But
space
see,
after.
I use the ellipsis a lot, and I use it because
it's for dramatic effect.
I generally write how I speak.
Yeah.
So if I put like a pregnant pause, like in what I'm saying out loud, I put it into my writing.
Johnny writes with a lot of dead air.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In his writing.
Yeah, but it's
that's
also
because I feel like I want people to look at me glaring at them while I write it.
Yeah.
But you know.
I think it's more purposeful.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's not an accident.
Well, yeah. If you,
With them, I think they don't know what's going on.
I used to when I was younger. I used ellipsis a lot, like way too much.
On AIM.
Yeah, on AIM, and
Talking
even
girls.
like in the early days of Facebook, I kind of like stumbled upon my 2010 posts, like when I first
Oh
joined.
yeah, I have
And
the
I was
memories.
just
I have the
like,
memories
oh,
pop up
God,
automatically.
So
I
what
love
the
it.
fuck
I
is wrong with
love
me?
it.
No, I go
Jesus
through and
Christ.
delete them all the time. I'm all the past.
So
never happened.
I found. Speaking of deleting old posts, I found this Chrome extension called Social Manager, and you can like automate it and tell it what year or month or like a whole year to go into, and just like do whatever you want to the posts, hide them, delete them, whatever, and it'll do it.
That's pretty fantastic.
So it'll just do it for you.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's absolutely fucking incredible.
I'm not ashamed anymore. I don't care. Like I wasn't a youth in this day and age where you put everything you think of online. Like I didn't have a Tumblr. I had a MySpace page.
I had a Tumblr for 5 minutes,
Yeah.
and then I dove into that cesspool, and I decided that's not something I wanted to live with.
No.
No,
Yeah, pass.
yeah, I'm gravy. Tumblr is, you know,
Tumblr's got some good jokes and memes on it, but I will let other people find them and then post them.
But
on
there's
a
a
different page.
whole fucked up like subculture on Tumblr of just the most extreme of the kinds of people the whole world dislikes. Like
Yeah. Well, it's
whether it's like people on the alt
Well,
right.
come on, that happens on.
most.
No,
most
yeah.
social
But
sites.
like Tumblr is a very special case, and like there have been like studies.
Yeah, I think it's because it's the more you increase anonymity,
Yeah.
the more you're going to
Yeah.
increase somebody's willingness to
Yeah.
let what they think should be hidden come out.
Yeah, I think there was an interesting study done on Tumblr about the sort of depression subculture and how on Tumblr being depressed is cool.
Oh yeah,
It's super cool to be depressed, and like it leads to this weird morbid edgelord style culture, but not like edgelord like Keck, like Pepe,
Yeah.
but like a different kind of like edgelord. And like cutting yourself and suicide are cool and fun things
yeah.
to
The
talk
more
about.
the more
and-
maladies that you have, whether
Yeah.
mental or physical, it
Yeah.
it boosts your credibility.
yeah, it's like the morbid Olympics,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, it's fucking weird.
We've all got daddy issues or mommy issues.
Yeah.
We've all had weird childhoods. It's part of childhood.
Yeah.
Get over it. Like find a therapist.
Yeah,
Find a bar.
find a bar.
Or both.
Both.
We found a bar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's totally fine.
Huddle together in the dark. That's all you can do. We're all just caveman on a rock hurtling through space.
Yeah, play a video game.
Yeah.
I don't fucking
Play
know.
Celeste. Get over it.
Yeah, Five Nights at
what?
Freddy's.
Celeste. It's a video game about a
Oh,
girl
God, I
who
opened
is
a rabbit hole.
overcoming adversity in her life through climbing a mountain. So it's both literal and figurative.
Just play Five Nights at Freddy's.
Well, yeah, play Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah, that's great.
Get murdered by Chuck E. Cheese, basically.
I
just-
know, God, it's so fucking
Fucking
weird.
amazing.
God,
Or just don't say anything about it to people.
never
I mean,
wanna go to
God.
another-
Yeah.
Chuck E. Cheese.
Bottle it in.
Yes.
Like a good Irishman.
yeah.
It's not about being Irish. It's about being an adult. You know?
You just bottle that shit right up.
Yeah. Just hold it down.
Yeah, just carry it with you
cool
till
with
your
it.
grave.
You don't need to carry it with to your grave. Just don't let anybody in on it.
Yeah.
Don't let anybody know. It's fine.
All right. Can we,
Well,
can,
what's going on?
can we
What's,
talk about football?
what's going
talk
on
about
with
this whole
football?
NFL thing?
Oh, not
Dude.
actual football. We're talking about. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So today's nothing but controversies, and I'm here for it. This is gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Go
so
for it.
the owners of the NFL essentially got together to instate a rule where it's against the rules to kneel during the national anthem.
And not only did they instate that, but they reversed previous policy regarding it.
Okay, but wait, because you can't just mislead that. They're allowing them in the vote. Okay, the vote was a unanimous vote -1 due to abstention. My beloved Judd York, thank you for constantly being the person who can say something or do something productive and just not. Judd York abstained.
Fucking Jed.
And I just want to call him Jeb. I feel like they're in the same vein. And the players on the field, that's what I like. That's that shit. That's that sound.
That's my shit.
The players on the field during the national anthem are going to be required to stand. Now, there's a caveat to that the good commissioner came out to talk about today in his announcement speech for it, saying that players don't have to be on the field during the national anthem, and if they feel that strongly about it, that they
don't have to take the field.
Right, and it's kind of like
I can't wait till next season where everyone starts counting players and trying to figure out who's not on the field so they can fucking oust them on media.
Yeah,
and they will. I mean, the best part of football is drama, but that's what they want. They want people to be engaged again in
they want people
NFL.
to talk about it,
right? And not just because no controversy should ever go to waste when it comes to business, but this has really divided people in different ways. I'm not really sure what this is specifically going to accomplish. The ESPN just kind of laid it out just fact based, because surprisingly ESPN is just for once not going to infuse their own writers' opinions. They're just kind of throwing it out there. But the Daily Beast did, and the Daily Beast is once again bringing up the flag for taxing the NFL as a corporation. I guess I get it. I don't care. But it just, for me, I'm kind of torn because it's either...
What?
I don't know. It's they're a private company.
Yeah.
And these are just the guidelines to play. And there is an out. You don't have to be on the field.
Right.
What they want is, if you're looking at the good golden circle of it all, that was a little Illuminati-ish, but if you're looking at the silver lining, they're just trying to create an atmosphere that's non-controversial.
Right. Yeah. No, I was thinking the same. They're just trying to curb controversy. But there's still going to be controversy. If a player doesn't take the field, everyone's going to fucking know.
Right.
Because the internet.
yeah.
Honestly, they're going to know. I mean, if 4chan can find the cabin in the woods that Shia LaBeouf is hiding in
that was a great
by
game.
just a wall that they see.
It was a much better game than any football game last season.
Agreed. Then what makes you think that they're not? I mean, there's going to be controversy. People are not going to take the field.
Yeah.
You're going to see them. You're going to not see them, and then you're going to see them on the internet somewhere. Someone's going to dox them, or articles are going to get written,
Or they'll take a selfie kneeling.
Yeah,
That's
in
a
the
good
locker
point.
room.
Yeah.
But it's what do people actually want out of the NFL here? If you're looking at the good Mary Sunshine version of this, like I just laid out, then the NFL just wants to be wholesome, all-American. We don't want to have controversy. You can still not stand for the national anthem. You just have to do it off the field and, make your personal politics and beliefs
to
your
make
own business.
to make this a little bit more about the race issue.
Right.
Is that not separate but equal? Yeah, you
No,
can do it.
come
yeah,
on.
you can do it, but you have to do it where we say you can do it.
No, come on.
I mean, if them kneeling was a race issue and that they were saying we're doing it because of police brutality and racial issues in America, then you're saying, okay, this issue that is self-reportedly a black issue,
Sure.
we're going to take it, and now it's not going to be on national television where our cameras are being placed. We're going to go hide it. We're going to go hide it in the back. You can't do it. So it's
Of the bus.
basically...
Oh, please. Well, listen.
That's the parallel I'm drawing right now.
Yeah, okay.
It's a colored only, you want to do a protest.
People of color, asshole.
Okay. I'm trying for one. I'm trying to draw the parallel to Jim Crow laws.
I get it.
Okay, but these aren't laws. This is a private company, and it's like, what's his face? George Takei came out and he was like, when we were in the internment camps, they made us stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag behind the metal fences. And I was like, listen here, buddy. Two things are not the same, okay? An internment camp is not an NFL team. They are not saying the same thing.
I do get really irritated by the comparisons of athletics to slavery. It drives me a little crazy.
Bizarre.
Just because it's like, it's rich white people buying black, and I was like,
strong black men.
and I'm sitting there and I'm like, but like they don't just pay for them once and then like whip them to death if they don't work. Like these guys are getting paid to some would consider unfair salaries because of how exorbitant they are, right? But like they're paid very well. They live very good lives. You know, some of them suck with their money and then they become washed up shitbags.
It could be argued that this is a privileged position.
Are we not, though, just more non-people of color saying that? Because I'm sure there are plenty of people...
I'm brown.
You're not brown. You're not brown enough. I don't think you're brown enough, though.
I'm brown.
For this
I'm brown,
controversy.
and I'm underrepresented in the media.
No one cares. What kind of brown are you?
I'm Filipino. There's not a lot of us.
no one cares.
Nobody. That's racist. Check your privilege.
Is Filipino a race?
What the fuck? Bitch, listen here. You cracker-ass cracker. It's a fucking... Whoa.
Let me get my point out.
Get your point out.
Get your point out.
Now I forgot. Now I'm stuck on... Now I just want Lupia.
Yeah, now you're stuck on being a racist.
I just want
you fucking
Lupia now.
racist.
Okay, I'm hungry.
Yeah, Sean, get to it.
No, okay, so I'm sure there were a lot of people in, let's say, slavery times who also said, well, they're being paid really well and they're getting a lot more opportunities now and they're being taken care of. Those house slaves, they have a much better life than they ever would have had.
Sure.
So I think there's
building hierarchy.
all the ones Harriet Tubman couldn't free.
Small sliver of reality to the whole slavery and let's say contact sports in general.
Okay. Or sports in general.
Yeah, I think it holds the tiniest bit of water, but it's not enough for it to be like, oh yeah, it's new slavery. That's a little...
tiny bit of water, but a drop in a cup isn't a drink.
Yeah.
Well, but that's
Like,
that's the thing. Beside
What a
with
quote! God, I got a little hard.
Did you?
No.
put that away. You're married. It's stuff like that. Like you're racist. It's stuff like that. Like the George Takei thing. It drives me absolutely bananas because it's the stupidest sentence, and I'm not even ashamed to say that to somebody who was actually interred. I'm like, you're
Interned.
Is it interred or interned? Interned? No, interned, I think is.
Yeah, it's interned.
Interned?
Interred.
Entered.
No, interned.
He was
interned.
entered?
Whatever, we'll look it up later.
Where's the emphasis?
Yeah. He was entered.
Well,
into an
listen,
internment camp?
he too is a married man, so that's their business.
Yeah.
Oh.
He can kneel.
Oh my.
He can kneel whenever he wants.
But it's like, how can you say that? Like, how can you even say that? These people are first of all, they have to sign a contract to be able to play in the NFL. I don't know that George had to sign a contract to be a 5-year-old child in a concentration camp, internment camp, whatever. But it just, I hate stuff like that. Not because it's uncomfortable or it's icky and I don't want to talk about it. It's because it's stupid. It's a stupid fucking comparison. The two are not the same, and it does nobody any good to continue on that, to take it there. But
yeah, George, stretch before you reach, okay?
Well,
Getting up there.
I don't know.
But
Jay Michelson did say something today, and he was writing for the Daily Beast, as he always does. And he rambled on for a lot, but
you sit through that publication.
I love the Daily Beast because they are so crazy sometimes, but they do have good moments like this. And Jay Michelson asks a very valid question that I think libertarians and liberals can kind of come together on when it comes to agreement, even if they don't like the paths that took them there.
Or each other.
also fair, but the intersection happens when it comes to NFL's corporatism and their corporate welfare to get their fucking stadiums built, and
Yeah,
it's so crazy.
they're
I
a
mean,
bunch of fucking welfare queens.
Yeah,
But
they make billions of dollars, but they can't afford property tax.
Yeah,
right
or property.
or property.
up.
Let's be straight.
Yeah.
or property.
Any professional sports team that's like, oh, we want to be in this city. The city needs to build us a stadium.
Well, yeah,
Fuck off.
most.
Yeah.
I will. There are some that don't, like the San Francisco Giants.
Yep.
AT&T Park is
Right.
privately funded, which in a city like San Francisco kind of blew me away.
Yeah, but I mean, there's also a lot of like, and I don't even. It's like we were talking about Sac Republic's deal with the Sac City Council for like $58 million of infrastructure that the city put in. Republic was willing to build its own stadium, and I was like, that I mind a lot less than like the Kings asking for like what $365 million or something like that.
Right.
All off of parking.
Yeah.
Right.
They
It's
say,
just it's
"Oh,
stuff like
build
that,
us
and
a
it's like
house."
Jay Michelson has a great point there, and he's like he kind of went off onto like the tax-free thing, and I was like, I kind of wish we all were, but you know, that aside, Jay Michelson, I like that intersection between sort of the free market capitalists, libertarians, and the statist, anti-racist liberals, when we kind of come together on that moment and be like, you know, maybe we shouldn't be building their bullshit, and if they want a stadium, they can build it themselves.
I agree
And
with that.
I think that's just the biggest kicker. Like, why are we building these for these people? You know, they charge out the ass for tickets
And
except for-
beer.
and beer, which is the biggest insult. And then I can't even say that the NFL is better than college football, which is why I've in the past few years gone heavily towards college football. But you know, it's just not even a game worth watching that much. You know,
No,
I'd rather just catch the stats and call it a day. But because college football, they're actually playing a game. It's a lot more fun.
The NFL is much more fun on the highlight reel.
Yeah.
And playoffs. Playoffs are always a blast. But, you know, I mean,
I watched the Super Bowl for the commercials.
yeah. But, like, you know, it's true as far as that goes. And I wish cities, I don't know why more cities aren't doing that. Some cities are totally not open to that for some strange. I know Seattle, like when Chris Hansen Group tried to build the new Sonic Stadium in Soto right next to CenturyLink Field and Safeco Field, it was going to be completely privately funded, everything. And then they said as part of the deal, they would also renovate Key Arena to make it a true music and concert venue. And City Council still was just like, nah. Which,
Well, listen, we're not. We can go in on this on the Seattle City Council.
I'm ready.
I'm raw. I've gone in on them so much. I can't stand it. Like it just, whew.
Well, they
I don't
just-
even live there anymore.
We got
and it
punched.
just drives
we
me
got
fucking
number
bananas.
2 of the 1-2 punch from
We
their
did.
tax plan.
Yeah, well, and then now they're planning on removing
tax.
on raising property taxes,
Yeah.
especially because major companies are thinking about leaving. So they're just like, oh well, we got to recover this revenue somehow. Let's tax the people. Like, hello,
Because our homeless problem isn't bad enough.
yeah,
Yeah.
hello, law of unintended consequences. Nice to meet you. How are you doing today?
I feel like that at this point, with like the way that they're taxing downslope, it's not unintended. I think
No.
they just don't give a shit.
No.
They're just taking money from the next highest purse.
Right. Well, I mean, you know, if they keep doing that, right, you're going to raise property taxes on people who own homes. What do you think is going to happen? Some people, especially in Seattle, can barely afford their homes. That market is through the fucking roof right now.
Well, especially when their property taxes are worth more than what I mean. People who have lived there for a generation or more, when housing was much more affordable, I mean, their property taxes are going up too, which means that their property taxes are over the value of their home
Yeah. At this point, yeah.
or what they paid for
what
the
they
home
paid for
initially.
their home. Yeah.
Like
Which is
way
just
higher.
insane.
That's so crazy, and it's just like, why do that to people?
Yeah, and so that's just kind of out of this world, and like I have friends up there right now who are looking for homes, and you know a lot of them are thinking, well, maybe we'll just go to Portland, maybe we'll just move because the market's jumping like crazy, and then this comes up, right? And then at that point, it's why am I going to stay here? Why,
Yeah.
you know? I mean, Seattle is going to tax itself into oblivion, honestly.
Which is fine. I mean, if that's what they want to do, then that's what they'll create.
Yeah. But there are tons of hungry cities around them, like ready to accept the exile.
Oh yeah.
Like, at that point. So yeah, but I did have a question segueing back into the NFL.
Go ahead.
My other question would be, there's a lot of discussion about platforms and these people having a platform and yada 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 and they shouldn't be using this to push political agendas or whatever. Do you think it's a real issue? I mean, is that a problem? People pushing their
Me?
ideology
Through
and-
what
well,
platform?
Their platform
as a player?
an athlete, as a player.
Well, I think one, I don't think I read anything about what players can do or say in an activist role
Other than
off the field.
other than with the national anthem.
Right. And that's only when it's playing when they're on the field before a game. But I don't have a problem with players doing whatever they want, however they want, in whatever activist role. I think that on their own time, using the platform that they've created, and they have earned this platform. I think that's another thing to consider here is that, these athletes have earned their positions, but I think they can do whatever they want with them. I don't mind an activist athlete at all.
I think it's their right to say what they want.
on the field.
No,
Realistically,
no, because that's
off
clocked.
the
That's
field.
game time.
Yeah, because they're
I
they're
can't
on the
say what I
because they're
want
on the
at work.
clock. Exactly. But it's also the same thing where if I am off the clock, but I start spewing all of this anti-corporate rhetoric on Facebook or whatever, and I'm calling for all of these big issues, then yeah, there's plenty of examples. Couldn't think of the word. There's plenty of examples of people being fired for saying things on social media.
Oh
when
yeah,
they were off the
I could
clock.
get in a lot of trouble depending on what I mean. Anybody that works for my company can, and it's not that they're monitoring our social media or whatever, but if something gets reported and it's if it violates the content of the character that my company wants, then
Yeah, it's like a morality clause.
then yeah, I can be separated for that, and
Yeah.
I think that that's
It's like the guy who
perfectly
made
fine.
the "Welcome to Starbucks" song.
Yeah, he got fired for that because that violated the company's, prerogatives or whatever. And I don't want to sit here and say that there's a right way and a wrong way to be an activist, but I will say that there's a right way and a wrong way to approach activism. If that separates it enough.
I think I kind of
Because you can have a certain ideological bent and you can say whatever you want politically, but I think once you cross a certain line or boundary when it comes to upholding certain values and kind of breaking, I don't know how to say that, like,
Is it one thing to use your platform to say like, hey, there are racial issues? It's another thing to say we need to block, I-5 in a march.
I think if you swung it further away, like, I think that calling for protests and being politically active is definitely not something that a company should fire you for. I think what you say and how you say it play into that. And I think that any company would watch that for any employee. And, I think that there should always be a certain amount of space for a person to represent their personal philosophy and the things that they care about and be active in pursuing, those ideals. I think that a company also has the right to say or make a decision if you've gone beyond the lines.
Yeah. And when you're on the clock, we expect you to act a certain way.
Yeah. And that doesn't make it fair and it doesn't make it right, but people always confuse the First Amendment for things. The First Amendment is a block against the government doing this to you, imprisoning you or harming you or taking you down for political speech,
Right.
or designing what kind of speech is acceptable. The government is stopped by the First Amendment. Companies are not. Companies can tell you how to behave and how you are expected to behave while you're employed with them. And guess what? If you want,
Well, that's why non-disclosure agreements can exist.
but that's why any contract exists when you're hired. If you break the company's standards of behavior or conduct, as they call it, then you've broken their expectations for your conduct, and you're gone. That's just the way it is. It's not a violation of the First Amendment, and if you don't like the way that the NFL does something, you're not obligated to spend your life playing for the NFL.
Right.
You know, you don't have to be there. Most of the people that are in the NFL went to school on football, playing football. I assume that they got a degree in something while they were playing. Most of them did. Go use that degree in the market. Okay.
Right. Or if your activism is worthwhile, then pursue that outside of the NFL's paid for screen time. Like they're the ones getting the cameras there. If your message is worth it and what you have to say, like if you're passionate about that enough, you won't need you shouldn't need the platform of the NFL. Granted, it's a large platform, but it's their platform.
Well, I support the platform. I think that they can say what they want with the platform. I think it's how they say it and specifically what people are saying.
What's
the platform?
I'm not like, what's an acceptable way to use the NFL as a platform for your activism then?
Well, I don't have an opinion on that. I have a stronger opinion, or at least I don't have a strong opinion on what is appropriate, because I don't think it would be appropriate for me to tell somebody what is acceptable, especially since I'm not on the board deciding what is acceptable. As a viewer, there was nothing about any of the kneeling or anything that had any effect on how I perceived football. I was already kind of done with the NFL a few years prior. It was just annoying to watch, mostly. Because it just wasn't good football. People were punking out left and right and not just shit. And Colin Kaepernick was not I love the 49ers. That's my team. He was not performing the way that I would have wanted to watch every game.
Yeah.
It was very frustrating.
I'm gonna be honest, when he first started doing this, in my mind, I thought for sure he's doing this because he had so much hype around him, he didn't perform, and he's losing steam, and now he needs to do something to keep his name in people's mouth.
Yeah, as a fan of the 49ers, I thought this was just him. Initially,
it felt like a stunt.
It felt like, that he was just being petty because he was benched. That's what this felt like. This didn't feel like a politically motivated thing. But I understand that he felt very strongly about this. He has acted on this. I have no problem with any of that. I don't think that any of that violates any kind of standard of conduct or whatever that the NFL should have. I think that if the NFL sets forward a set of rules for conduct, and if you don't want to follow them, whatever they may be, then don't play for the NFL. Go do something else with your life.
Yeah. Oh, I saw a post the other day, and it was I want to say it was something about the "This Is America" music video, Childish Gambino's video, but there was a photo, and I want to say it was like a screen cap from that, and it had 4 faces superimposed on it. It was Martin Luther King Jr., I want to say Rosa Parks, maybe Malcolm X or Obama, and Colin Kaepernick.
Okay.
And I thought that was an interesting comparison. I can't remember if it was This Is America or something else, but it was basically this,
No, well, if it was This Is America, was it like the church choir?
No, it wasn't like they were cropped onto people.
Oh.
It was like they were like the floating heads of like, this is what we're remembering and this is what we're fighting for. It was like they were all put
but it was
there.
probably Malcolm X, because I don't really think Barack Obama did very much for black people, but
yeah. So I think you're right.
At all.
No. I was just reaching for the next famous black guy I could think of.
Fair enough.
But then it had Kaepernick there, and I'm sorry. I get that he's fighting for something, but I really can't. Like, that's like having on Mount Rushmore, like having, I don't know, some random Secretary of State from the late 1800s. Like, it's so farther down from the bar that the rest of them set. To put him in that pantheon of civil rights fighters is really bizarre to me.
Colin Kaepernick?
Yes. No, Martin Luther King Jr.
Well, I thought we were still talking about Obama, but I get what you're saying. I
don't know. I feel like
I have no problem with.
There are some circles in which I feel like he is not deified, but he's really raised up as this big fighter for the cause.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, has he sacrificed that much? Has he put himself on the line?
His
I mean,
job.
he's kind of ruined his career. I mean,
His
people would say
job was going downhill already.
I know, but he has invested a lot of money and time into this and on his own. And I respect that. I think that, whatever people think or don't think about Kaepernick, I have no problem with the way that he protests. I didn't even care about the kneeling, but I'm also the type of person who's like, you can do whatever the fuck you want. To the
Oh yeah,
national
I have
anthem. That's
nothing
not my
against the
problem.
protest. That's great.
I just think, when it comes to decisions like this from the NFL, I think that they knew that it was going to be controversial. I think that they were hoping that it was going to be controversial because they wanted it to be enough of a rattle to bring, the people who
That they lost.
to bring them back into the fold. And how about you play a better game? How about that?
Yeah.
How about we focus on that? Because some of the rules and the things that they've done in the past few years have made professional football a lot less fun to watch because it's literally just stop and go, stop and go, stop and go. And I'm just like, the whole time I'm just like,
Instant replay, that's 10 minutes.
yeah. And it's like,
Commercial.
yeah. And it's like, a game lasts 3 hours and play time is like, I don't know. It feels like 10 minutes total.
Yeah.
I'm just like, Jesus Christ. Like, I'm drunk. I've been at this bar. I only came here for like a beer and a burger or a sandwich. And I just wanted to watch the game and kind of munch and drink at the same time over it. But I've lost an entire day on one game. I can't.
Yeah, and it's there. Every sport, it seems like nowadays, is so overanalyzed.
Yeah.
Because it just seems like there's not enough content in the match.
Yeah. I don't know.
And everyone's mad at esports.
Oh,
Well.
and it's just on the rise, man.
Yeah.
It's at least action packed for the most part.
Yeah. So we've got Trump news today, but there's more of that. And I kind of want to dive into something else first, which I think is really interesting. Also myself as a person, not surprised by this. Hollywood Reporter reports that Solo is headed for the lowest opening of a Disney Star Wars movie.
How many Disney Star Wars movies has there been?
4.
4?
4.
This will be the 4th.
That's not that salacious of a title. Then.
No.
I mean, somebody has to be the lowest, right?
Well, I think the point of this is to point out the fact that
Are they losing steam?
yeah,
That I believe. I mean,
think so.
it's a classic pump and dump. Like it was so exciting, and it's Disney, and it's Star Wars, and it's gonna be great. And like first movie's like cool, kind of like A New Hope, but I'm with it. Like Rey and Finn and that other guy who had a jacket. Like cool.
Poe.
Yeah, I know it is Poe Dameron.
Bay.
He's so
Bring me a husband like that.
Well,
Where's he?
I mean,
he's a hell of a pilot. But and then it was like then
But they're
Rogue
losing
One
steam.
came out and it was like, okay, this is cool and different and
but they're
weird,
losing
like,
steam pretty quick, don't you think? I
yeah.
mean,
and then it was
come on,
like feminism and
Right.
like look at like she can
you know,
she can
people,
beat
you know,
down so many rocks at
people of
once.
color and feminism and all
Yeah.
this stuff. Yeah, I get it.
I just think the
But,
story
like,
suck.
yeah,
It
and
wasn't great.
you know, and that's the thing, right? Like, because yeah, I was going to ask you why do you think they're losing steam?
Just
on this?
drink out of
yeah,
your
you just
shaker?
drank out of the shaker.
Classy.
I was
bitch.
going to ask you why you think they're losing steam on this particular franchise because they have other franchises that, but you just said it because they have other franchises that are not losing steam nearly as fast. You know?
Oh, yeah.
like the Marvel franchise. Like I know Johnny's tired of it, but like the
Yeah.
world as a whole is
Not
still
tired of
just
pretty hard on it.
pumping money into this thing.
Yeah.
I'm
High
not
qu- high
I'm
quality
not tired
content.
of it. I'm not. I know I'm not tired of it. You know.
The thing is, the
Um,
content, in my opinion,
Tired of DC. I'll tell you that much. God, they
I,
just keep.
I liked Super Friends. You know, I'm gonna be honest. I walk into
I'm
this
so
apartment
mad at you.
and I just want one reaction like that every time I walk in here. I'm so glad I got it. Thanks for coming, guys.
Justice
It's been a
League.
great show. We're gonna wrap it up. I'm Robert. No, I like Justice League. I liked it.
It was
fun.
the same fucking DC story where everyone has a struggle and then Superman comes in the last 5 minutes. and beats
That's
the-
Superman. That's DC.
Yeah,
That's
he's a
always.
he's
that's
fucking
it.
OP. He's broken. He's bullshit.
That's the whole
that
point
at
of
least
Superman. That's the
Captain America
ideology
has
behind
weaknesses,
making Superman.
like-
Is like, what if we had a hero that was basically perfect and could win every time?
And it's the most boring character. He's a fucking
he's
Boy Scout.
He's written to be
He's
one-dimensional.
and I don't know why people love him so much.
Well, speaking of one-dimensional, I think that's what they're afraid that Star Wars is right now.
well, it is.
And it
I am excited for one thing, and that is
Donald Glover as Lando
Donald
Calrissian.
Glover as Lando Calrissian.
Hell fucking yeah.
It looks so dope.
I'm right there with you,
He's
baby.
wearing a cloak. I'm honestly excited. Like,
even though they just announced that he's pansexual.
I don't give a shit. I don't care. I assume that already. He was originally played by Billy D. Williams. He's definitely already pansexual. This isn't news. It's not like they were like, we've altered the Lando. Pray we do not alter it further.
Really,
I'm
I've never
interested to
seen
see-
Billy D. Williams in that movie try to fuck anything other than a woman.
Okay, watch it again and watch his eyes. He's trying to eye fuck everybody he looks at. Stormtroopers, Darth Vader, the Wookiee, the robots, that weird cyborg guy with the eye.
So he's rapey.
He's not rapey. It's Billy D. Williams. He's in a cloak. It's consensual.
So he's a creeper.
He's not. No. He's just a man of love.
Yeah?
He went from being like a smuggler
Is
to
that-
being the head of a whole city.
Because if a man
Come on,
not
he's a
nearly
man of
as
power.
attractive
he
as
can
Billy-
walk up and grab him in the cyborg parts, and nobody cares.
If a man not as attractive or powerful as Billy D. Williams was doing shit like that, he's a rapist.
well, it's a good thing Billy D.
Yeah, and
Williams
it also
is-
wouldn't be
is who he is.
consensual.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Rule one,
But it is.
be attractive.
Yeah.
Rule two, don't be unattractive.
Well, listen, everybody,
Those are stringent rules, all right?
everybody has pluses and minuses to their own lives. Okay, it shouldn't take away from him. You know that he kind of has that effect on people. It's fine.
Okay, you're like, oh, I kind of want to fuck him a little bit. Yeah.
Oh come on,
I don't
come
care.
on. You know
I
that.
don't care about Lando
You know
being
that.
pansexual.
You know that when they were designing The Empire Strikes Back, that they were like, we need somebody who can drop more panties than Harrison
oh, yeah.
Ford. And then they were like, Billy D. Williams, can you grow a mustache and smile a little bit? And he was like, yeah. And
He was
they-
like, all right.
yeah. And George Lucas was like, I'm wet. Let's do it.
He's like,
Write a movie.
and I'm finished.
Yeah. Got the second act all written.
Yeah.
Right.
It's it right here.
Yeah, that scene where Leia was like, I love you, is supposed to be Lando. Yeah.
I don't mind it.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
Oh, yeah.
What have we here?
Oh.
No, I'm honestly, I'm not like super hyped up about it like I was with the other movies.
What do you want? What do you
He
want?
wants his booze. He wants his
Which
lemonade.
You got Jameson
he
right
wants
there. What do you-
lemonade. Lemonade.
No, not the
Shut up,
lemonade.
Beyonce.
Can I get the bitters?
Yeah, I can grab the bitters for you. Hold on.
No, I'm interested to see the relationship between Han and Chewie because I always like seeing that, you know, the prequel relationships of how it came to
How it
be
developed?
Yeah. So I'm interested in the story so much more than I am interested in the movie itself. The movie could be just subpar and I'd be okay, but I'm getting content from a universe that I enjoy. It'll be worth it. I'll use my movie pass before they go bankrupt. So did you know their stock dropped by like 20 or like
Why?
80%?
Why?
Because they're hemorrhaging money. It's a terrible business model.
Because people aren't okay. So this was supposed to be like go to the movies and buy all the expensive fucking snacks, but what they don't realize is that people actually don't have that kind of nostalgia for like buttered popcorn and all the goodies and everything that they used
speak
to.
for yourself.
Well, I can go see a movie and I'm just like, I'll just take like a coffee or something, which I'm really glad that they serve coffee there now.
Yeah.
This is a very boozy episode. I like it.
Sorry, let me just pour this in.
So
real quick.
yeah.
That nobody's buying any of the side stuff. You know, it's just kind of like
Yeah, and some of the big theater companies are fighting them on like partnerships. AMC like shit all over them. It was like, no, we're not gonna give you a cut of our food profits
I made that one strong.
just because you're bringing people in and charging them less for a ticket.
Right.
But they've been doing so bad. But who knows?
Whatever, enjoy it while it lasts.
Yeah, but I'll probably go see
Well,
it.
we're-
just
We're
because
seeing it.
it's
We're
this
seeing
Friday.
it
We're seeing it
Friday.
this Friday.
You better have
It's
cleared
gonna
your
be high
schedule.
quality it's gonna be high quality
I
content.
yelled at Matt already.
No, I'm going out of town this weekend.
Oh no,
Maybe we'll go see it Monday.
No, I'm good. Who's our third ticket?
Marco.
Okay, great.
You're not gonna go with Maddie?
Well, I invited Matthew, but I forgot that he has a prior engagement called work.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
got a
he's
job
got
now.
a job
So proud of
now.
him.
Don't call him out like that.
No, him and we had dinner the other night. It was nice. I hadn't seen him in a while.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why'd you say, oh no?
I said, oh, nice.
Oh.
Oh no, I wanted to.
Let's see.
Overall, I'm not again, I'm not super hype over the movie, but I'm not surprised that they're saying it's not going to be super successful. People have been, as much as people jumped on the hype train for the movies coming out, people have been sort of jumping just straight from that train onto the anti-hype train.
Listen, as long as I'm not, if this is just a fun movie and it's like completely brainless, but it's super fun, I'm going to be okay.
I'm not anti-hype. I'm just, I'm just over it at this point.
Yeah.
Well, like we said a couple weeks ago, like I am super stoked about the fact that there will be a year and a half between movies that we can have a breath.
I just,
Yes.
I think one of my big things right now with movies is, especially these fictional films, is that I'm just so tired. I'm so tired of my movies coming with a large side, sometimes two sides of politics. Like, I'm just over it. I'm fucking over it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Oscars were the same way this year.
Yeah, why can't my movie just be a movie anymore? Why does this there have to be this giant political discussion around it? Where,
Well, okay. Star Wars has never not been political. The original Star Wars was it was designed to be a metaphor about the Vietnamese War and about the authoritarianism of Richard Nixon. He was supposed to come in The Empire Strikes Back, and the Emperor was supposed to be a very Nixonian character. The rebels were supposed to be a very positive spin on the Viet Cong, and it was supposed to be a very, America was the empire, and it was being very assertive overseas. We didn't necessarily feel out of here at home, but he wanted to show that American imperialism overseas was very crushing and very brutal. And it wasn't just American, it was the Soviet. These were expansionist powers that were trying to dominate the entire system. Star Wars was always supposed to be political, but the thing about it is that it was very subtle, and it was told to you in a very different structure. And it's like telling you a futuristic, it's showing you something futuristic about the current world, telling it through an old world story format. And I think that's where the new movies are really missing that kind of formula, because we want to see something in the future
they're
that
not
looks
tactful
cool.
about it.
Yeah, it's kind of brainless, and they're just very blunt about it because they assume that people are too stupid to get the gist. But the thing is that Star Wars itself, without actually being very direct, was supposed to engage people in their thought process and really pull them back into a very revolutionary and very rebellious spirit. And it was supposed to engage people in that light, but it was there to tell a specific, very political story. It had an agenda. This Star Wars has never not had an agenda.
Who were the Jedi in this analogy?
The Jedi were supposed to be kind of the... he hadn't really thought them out at that point. He had by the time the second movie had come out. But at that point, it was much more of an international coalition. People who... The perspective on the Jedi was very much supposed to be like this higher philosophy of people who believed in sort of an intersection of world peace, basically.
Okay.
Not necessarily the hippies, not
Right.
people who were just Greenpeace or whatever, but people who genuinely wanted to engage peacefully with other nations and other societies and other...
Like a precursor to globalization.
Yes, but focus much more on a trade of ideas without being crushing and imperialistic about it. But the rebellion was based off of an Americanized Viet Cong, and American actions were masked as a much more imperialist or socialist or kind of Nazi style galactic empire. But we were actually the empire. The American political system overseas was the galactic empire, and the Viet Cong were the rebels. So, I mean, it's always been political, and I don't mind that. It's just that the story format sucks, and that's why people don't buy it, because the original Star Wars trilogy was told through very old school, very classical structure. with a modern message and a futuristic setting. And that combination created like a brilliant arc. Really nicely told.
Now it just feels like they're rehashing a lot of the same plot points.
Yeah, and very cheaply. Very cheaply.
And terribly. Just terribly.
Yeah, it's not coming out very well.
I mean,
I liked Rogue One.
that's all right.
I thought that was the most original one.
I think Rogue One was the most emotional for me.
Yeah.
It built like emotional moments for
The
me.
daddy issues.
I don't have daddy issues.
The blind Asian issues.
I've
What?
seen that before.
Oh.
You've seen Rogue
Yeah.
One. Yeah. Donnie
I'm
Yen.
one of the Force, and the Force is with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved, honestly,
I'm
I don't
sorry,
I
I'm
don't know that
just
I've ever
so-
seen Donnie Yen in a movie that I haven't liked him specifically.
Well, he's been a lot of fun.
He's so great.
I'm just tired.
Speaking of daddy issues,
Yeah,
Sean, why don't you take us to Trump?
Trump. So we got a couple Trump stories this week. One is this. This one. Let's dive into this one first because this really this grinds my gears a little bit. But it says Trump blocking Twitter critics is unconstitutional.
It was ruled that way, right?
Court decides that Trump blocking Twitter critics is unconstitutional, which I'm a little lost on this one. Being that Twitter is a private platform, where and he's blocking them from his actual account, right? Not like the White House account, right? This account he's had since way before he was president of the United States.
Since he joined Twitter, yeah.
Yeah. So what? Can somebody explain this to me?
It's a little convoluted only because this is a ruling after an appeal from a previous ruling that said that Trump can block whoever he wants. So this is kind of a back and forth, and this will have to be settled either by some, God forbid this go to the Supreme Court. I will absolutely.
Why are we fighting over Twitter features?
Because people think that a public official has an obligation to remain accessible to all people. Can you grab the lemonade for me? Yeah. I'm gonna splash. I made this a little too strong, a little weak tonight. My constitution, isn't what isn't what it used to be. I don't know. I don't know if there's like an actual answer for this. I don't know if there's a real perspective here that the judge is going off of. It wasn't really made clear in the piece by The Verge how he came to this conclusion.
Now, when it says he's blocking people, is it that he's blocking them from seeing what he's saying?
Well, I mean, you can just Google that, but it's blocking them from like it's like when you block someone on Twitter.
I've never blocked someone on Twitter.
It's like when you block someone on Facebook.
I've never blocked someone on Facebook.
That is a lie. How is that possible?
Why? Who would I block on Facebook? I don't have enemies.
Oh, I was gonna say
well,
family members and ex-friends. I
Oh, yeah.
guess.
I don't have ex-friends.
Oh,
Just a nice guy.
Yeah, I'm just a nice person.
Just a nice
I'm not a nice guy. I feel like that's a connotation there. Like I expect women to sleep with me because I'm
You can't.
nice to them.
You're married.
such
You're
a
not.
nice
You're not in that
guy.
domain anymore. You're
Still,
married.
I don't even like the name.
okay, but somebody explain this to me because I read the article and I still kind of am like,
I mean,
I think the idea is that you can't stop people from hearing your message. You can't stop specific people from hearing your message. If you're saying it publicly, everybody has the right to hear that.
okay,
Everybody has the right to access that information.
as a public official.
As a public official, and you're saying something in public, obviously we don't have the right, clearly,
but
to
see,
hear
he's
everything
saying
he
that this
says.
is discrimination.
Is Twitter
And-
really in
but-
public?
Yes,
But okay, but here's the thing: is
it's a
that
public platform,
From a private company.
but it's still the platform's.
the court?
public.
Okay, it says the court, while not going so far as to enter an order against the president and social media director Dan Scavino, specifically ruled more generally that public officials violated users' rights when blocking them on the platform. The decision says such an action is viewpoint discrimination and that no government official, including the president, is above the law, and all government officials are presumed to follow the law as has been declared. But I just don't...
It sounds like they're assuming his reasoning for blocking them
is to keep them from... is an obstruction of like their right to observe a public official, I guess. But is that...
Yeah. It's denying them access to information that everyone else has.
First of all, you can Google and you can get every single one of Trump's tweets in a snapshot. And the other thing is that you can ask for somebody else to take a screenshot or screen grab, whatever you call it, and send it to you.
I think this is, one of those
I think this is petty. I think this is going to be overturned.
It's possible. So where's this judge from?
The lawsuit brought by Columbia University's Ninth First Amendment Institute argued that Twitter users blocked by Trump had their First Amendment rights violated, blah, 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 blah. A federal judge hearing the case rule. It just says a federal judge.
Just a federal judge.
But like I said, this is a decision off of a decision that's already been made, saying that Trump can, because it's a personal Twitter account. He can do whatever the fuck he wants. He can't. I believe the last case, don't quote me on that, but I believe the last case I read said that they could do that with real Donald Trump, but they can't do that with POTUS or White House, like the official ones.
Right.
Not official as in like the government's accounts. That he can do that with his own personal account, but not with the government accounts.
But now they're saying even the personal one, he can't block people.
Yeah.
For having dissenting opinions.
And it's not just, but I mean, like, why can't he? It's Twitter.
Yeah.
Maybe honestly, maybe the judge thought that it set a bad precedent. That first it's Twitter and then it's everything.
That every action sets a precedent.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think maybe the judge saw it and thought, I don't like the way this is turning, so I'm going to stop it here. Easier to stop it here than when he's,
I think that's a slippery slope.
So let me ask you this: is it acceptable? Because technically, Trump is a private citizen. He's in a very public role, but legally, he is a citizen. Do the rights of the general citizenry matter more than the one?
That's a pretty semantics argument.
Well, that's what we're asking here, because like if they can't block him, they can block him, but he can't block them. What is this even, and why are people asking? I can understand like the generals like, oh well, this is like this is public record, blah 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 blah. But I can't see why the court would even take this up, because making any decision, pro or against, would have an effect on precedent going forward. And are citizens allowed? So real Donald Trump isn't allowed to block people who, I don't know, harass or threaten him. Like he has to report that to Twitter, and we'll see if Twitter like upholds their community standards. They do so citedly, but it's like, can you harass the president, but the president can't block you?
So I'm just looking it up now. The phrase private citizen is defined as a citizen who does not hold any official or public position.
Is that the legal one, or is that just the general definition?
Just a dictionary definition.
Talking on the mic. God damn it.
No.
I don't know. I mean, I agree. I disagree with this on the grounds that this isn't POTUS or this isn't WhiteHouse.gov or whatever.
But everything he does is POTUS. Whether he's using one account or the other, he still speaks with the presidential voice.
And you can look it
up. He can't turn
up.
it off. He can't just go, well, I wasn't saying that as the president. I was saying it as the real Donald Trump.
That's sidestepping what I just said. That's a complete sidestep, because you can have your friends, you can have Google look it up. You can get any single one of it. What he's blocking you from is direct access, but you can always step around that, and he's not blocking your access entirely. He's blocking your communication abilities.
Like, don't at me.
Yeah, don't at me.
Don't at me, bro.
Don't DM, don't slide in my DMs, that kind of stuff. And I think that's, I'm not even mad about that, because you can see all of his tweets.
It's
every
just
tweet
Twitter,
ever.
man.
off
just
of.
fucking Twitter.
Yeah, I like nobody's taken to the street over this.
It's just
not a big
fucking
deal.
Twitter.
It's just the news of the day.
It is. Sean, do you want to take us to
Why
the
can't
other
he?
towns?
Why? I mean, I don't understand. Yeah, he can just, I don't know. I don't even know. He can not say things as.
That's also true.
It's all Trump from here, isn't it?
Yeah. It's always been Trump. So he
All
can't
day,
do
every
like what
day.
the Pope does and just say things that are not ex cathedra and just like.
Yeah, you can't go, hey, hashtag not Pope right now.
I don't know if I want to go into the Pope this week. I appreciated his words this week.
What did he say?
I don't want to misquote him, but because I think that that's like a damning thing if you misquote the Pope. But I don't know. But he
Catholicism.
yeah. But he that old bag of nuts. No pun. He came out basically and said gays are made in God's image if that's how they feel naturally, and he would never turn away anyone regardless of their sexuality. Basically, this is like paraphrasing, but he would never turn away anyone based on their sexuality who was seeking a relationship with Jesus Christ, which I thought was really nice. But then the next day it was followed by the rumors that he is going to retire, which would make him the second pope in living memory to do this, and the third pope in the past 600 years to do this. So
To not die as
to
Pope.
retire.
to retire.
Yeah, to not die as Pope.
So I think there's probably a lot of pressure. I didn't know that this was going to be a topic, but I think there's probably a lot of pressure for him amongst the more traditionalists. I don't want to say conservative because they're all kind of conservative, but for the more doctrine-focused, religiously traditional members of the church, I'm sure that there's got to be a certain amount of pressure for him to step aside. Even though they're supposed to take everything that he says as
Being from God.
being perfect.
Yeah.
I'm sure that we can all admit that that's not the way things work in the real world, and that here on Earth,
It's a dirty communist.
right?
Yeah.
Well,
From what I remember.
I mean, I didn't mean to say right. What I meant to say was,
You blasphemer!
what I meant to say was, I think that there's probably
More libertarian than a Catholic.
real world, in the real play of things, there's probably a good amount of pressure for him to step aside. I would not be surprised for that.
Because of this or
Just
for a lot of
just
reasons?
a lot of his views are a lot more progressive. We would see them as progressive for the Catholic Church, sure, but I think that there's a lot of things that he says that, he was the first pope in 200 years that some group of cardinals that has to do with perfecting doctrine and the understanding of doctrine had to correct because he spoke 54 heresies according to the church.
Oh, jeez.
And they had-
All at once or
yes,
over
and
time?
they had to they notified him. They were these are 54 heresies. It was within his first 2 years or something like that.
Yeah, they were like, you can't keep saying fuck.
Yeah,
dude.
they were-
You
they were
gotta
like-
stop.
Yeah, they were this is not
Yeah.
what.
So I've got the quote. The quote exactly is he reportedly told Juan Carlos Cruz, who's a gay man, God made you like this and loves you like this.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty
Powerful.
innocuous for a normal person.
Powerful.
Yes, very powerful for the Pope to say that.
And then rumors of it could just be rumors. I don't know, but I don't know. I didn't really mean for this to be a topic, but this is a whole bunch of little controversies. So there you have it.
Still,
I like it. I've always liked this Pope. As a non-Catholic specifically, I've always been a fan of this guy.
I mean,
Seems like a straight shooter.
well, he's never seemed like a straight shooter to me.
Oh Jesus!
Oh, jeez. What are you even doing? Fucking shit show.
Fucking YouTube ads. I was going for dramatic effect with a helicopter noise.
Yeah, we really need to get that soundboard.
Oh, God, no. Nope. Count me out.
I wanted the helicopter noise. Instead, I got a Target commercial. It's fucking bullshit.
YouTube
That's
Red.
of it.
What?
YouTube Red.
YouTube? I don't
No
know.
ads.
I don't feel like paying for that right now.
Yeah, you listen to YouTube with the Apple.
They're
down.
changing it. It's going to be YouTube Premium with some other stuff. Yeah. And I guess creators will be able to make exclusive YouTube Premium only content.
That's
That's
interesting.
stupid. No, there's already YouTube Red already has exclusive content, so that's nothing new. Hello.
Take us forward. What? Take us back to Trump.
Yeah, okay. Sorry. Okay.
I like it.
So, the BBC News reports Trump lawyer paid by Ukraine, quotes, to arrange.
You gotta get it together, dude. You got we got one more thing.
Are you drunk?
Probably, I don't know.
He's had like a quarter of a bottle of Jameson.
What? Don't. I mean,
Don't out me, bro.
don't know me, bro.
Trump lawyer, quote, paid by Ukraine, end quote, to arrange White House talks. Donald Trump's personal lawyer, Michael Cohen, received a secret payment of at least $400,000 to fix talks between the Ukrainian president and President Trump, according to sources in Kiev close to those involved. Give it to me, Goose. That's what I want to know.
Well, listen, I think this goes to show that. Don't tell me to move close to my mic. I have to be far enough to make sure that my Jameson doesn't spill.
Nope. Still not. There we go.
But you're right. Okay, so just a dash.
Dead air.
Listen, I'm sorry.
Just a lot of
I didn't
dead
know.
air.
I didn't know that you would be so quick on the introductions on that. I think this goes back into the questions of what Michael Cohen is really there for, and I think everybody sort of has. I don't know how to start this. I think everybody sort of has it right when they assume that he's just there to grease the wheels for all of Trump's bullshit. And I think that's just the way it's worked out. It would explain a lot of his diplomatic overtures. I would not be surprised if similar deals were reached to get sort of a contact situation with North Korea, with China.
Sure.
But at the same time, this kind of goes back to even around the primaries, when the argument for Trump is he's the skeezy guy that's buying politicians. Maybe we should just cut out the middleman and just get the skeezy guy as a politician. And that was kind of like the perspective on him that I had when he was in the primary. I did not want him. I did not vote for him. I never cast a ballot. I will make that known for Trump. But at the same time, if this is the way that he's going to do politics, at least, I don't know. It looks really bad. It looks kind of legal, but
Looks kind of legal or illegal?
I don't think this looks legal at all. I don't know anybody that could spend
No,
that.
not at all.
But, it's like, what do you want? What do you want? There's a part of me that's like, wow, this is really fucked up, and this is what corruption looks like, and I could like jump on my high horse, and I don't want to be the type of person who's like, this is going to work out great, and if this works out great, there's no problems with it. I think there are problems with this, and I think that it could either go really well or it could go really wrong. But if it greases a relationship with the Ukraine, that kind of grazed the argument a little bit, because politics have always been the art of being as sleazy as possible with the prettiest picture. The problem is that the picture is kind of like the shades on it are pulled down a little bit, so we're seeing a lot of the brush strokes, but I don't like it. But if it makes things easier to connect with the leadership in Ukraine, to kind of
it makes it easier for them to connect with us. They're paying us.
right. Well, but that's what they wanted. They want access. Listen, I'm not going to defend this. I think this is. I kind of put myself in that corner, but I don't think this is right. But the question is skeezy politics that works well and has good outcomes worth it?
So basically, to be Machiavellian or not, do the ends justify the means?
Yeah.
So who gets that $400,000?
That is the question.
Does Cohen get it? Because I doubt it.
Donald Trump's personal lawyer, Michael Cohen, received a secret payment of at least $400,000 to fix talks between the Ukrainian president and Donald Trump. So it sounds like it's him.
This guy's making out like a bandit.
Yeah, he's getting paid for a lot of things.
Yeah, and that makes me think there's no way he's because he's not the power behind the throne.
How did we find out about this?
The raid. It absolutely has to have come
what I
from the
was thinking.
the Stormy Daniels raid.
You know,
Thank God for her. Cheers to that. We would never know about this if it weren't for her.
okay. You know, I'm here
That's
for
I'm
that.
holding that position.
But I'll re-ask the question: is skeezy politics worth it if it works out? And what exactly do we want out of Ukraine?
That's my first question. Well, the real question is, what is the Ukraine willing to pay? Almost, was it $400,000? Almost $500,000.
That's nothing. What the Ukraine wants is to not be under the economic thumb of Russia. They want to be able to. Okay, the Ukraine is in, and I know that Natalie is gonna like jump on me if she listens to this, but I'm gonna try and like articulate this as best as possible. The Ukraine is in a situation where it wants closer ties with Europe and the European Union. They cannot. They also want closer ties with NATO. They cannot, because a lot of their economic and defense situation is directly controlled by Russia, both the government of Russia and the natural resource power players in the Russian economy. They cannot really move, and they're very stuck. And that's why Russia had such a they had such a stake in maintaining Ukrainian political positions in the past couple of years. We'll remember like the revolutions, the Orange Revolution. In Crimea and all that. The Orange Revolution, I think towards the end of the Bush administration, which was an attempt for Ukraine to pivot towards Europe, did not go well. Ukraine wants an out, and they need a strong sponsor for that. They do. They need a strong sponsor that can stand up and rival Russia for that plan to work. It's going to be messy. There's no way it's not messy. I don't know that what Ukraine's exact wants out of this are, other than just access to Trump. Which, who wouldn't if it's the U.S. president? But, you know, I don't...
But it shouldn't be pay to play.
Okay, but when has it not been?
That's not a good answer. That's not an acceptable... Well, that's how it's always been. You know those politicians, they just lie to you.
Okay, but this is... Okay, but I think it's a... I understand what you're saying, but I also think...
It's just an unacceptable
I also
one.
think I think it's a valid answer because... I mean, what do you want? The Obama campaigns both were backed by huge pharma corporations, and especially in 2008, those corporations wrote the ACA. They got huge influence over direct policy that affected the entire country.
Right.
So what is...
And that's beyond fucked up.
And
I'm not saying
I'm not justifying it.
it's
I'm just
starting
saying
with
I'm just
Trump.
saying that this is not a new phenomenon where people are paying, and as much outrage as the BBC wants to put on this right now, because they're the ones.
Is anybody really surprised?
Is anybody really surprised? One, and is anybody honestly really surprised that this happens in American politics? Because if the veil's pulled back, what exactly do we see with the other party? You know, I don't really like the fact that this exists. I understand why it exists. I'm a little shocked that this would be allowed to happen so close to home, where something like this could be found out. You know, it's a little.
I think
a little
honestly,
sloppy.
I think what the biggest thing that
The least you could do is have the money paid to the Trump Foundation, and you could just have a meeting about like putting skirts on girls for school, and that's where you could talk about political access. Clinton Foundation, but you know.
I think for me, one, like nobody likes seeing the sausage get made except freaks. And that's the news outlets at this point. Everybody's happy to see it. For me, I think it's disconcerting because no, I lost my fucking train of thought. God damn it.
Why does this upset you?
Yeah.
One, I mean, very much so.
And I can understand
one,
why.
it's more the same. Two,
Sure.
it's so obvious, and I think the biggest thing is that
So you're mad because it's sloppy.
yes, one, it's sloppy, and
It is
two,
sloppy.
and two, it's so blatant that it's just gonna get more. It's like it's gonna become more acceptable. This rhetoric, and I've talked about this before, is like I don't understand how politicians, specifically Trump, in a lot of examples.
How do
the
you get into
politicians-
this game? Like, this is what I want to know.
Yeah, but like, so for me, it's like I don't understand how he can get away with this stuff because nothing's gonna happen over this. Nothing's gonna happen to him. I was blown away that he ever said, I could go out and shoot somebody on the street and they'd probably still elect me. I was like, wow, that's a bold claim. Nowadays, every day that goes by, every news cycle that something like this comes out, we're one day closer to him shooting somebody in the head and walking away and going, well, he's a terrorist. Boom, that was it. That's it. That's all he had to say, and he just gets to shoot people. I understand that I'm using hyperbole, but
that's fine.
Unbelievable the things that people just brush off because this is the way politics are.
Well, but here's the thing, and this...
I want to know where that money's going.
I know. Well, probably to his band. It sounds like this was just a payment to grease the wheels. Mr. Cohen denies it, which is not shocking. He does deny it. And the Ukrainian president stopped his investigation into Paul Manafort. That's another line in this. And which is not a good sign. It's not a good sign when Paul Manafort's being looked at, being investigated here by the special counsel Mueller. I think indicted. Manafort was indicted, right?
I believe so.
Okay. And then the Ukrainian president stops the anti-corruption agency from its investigation of Paul Manafort back in Ukraine. It's a little dicey. So I'm not really sure how Cohen is denying this. I don't know. I really, this is the thing, is that I have never not seen politics as being slimy. I've never not seen it being slimy. And so I've always assumed that it was. So whether this is true or not, I would like to know for sure if it's true or not, but I'm also not surprised. I think what I'm most surprised by is that it's so close to home. You don't have some unknown, secretary that you can put this on. What?
They're not even trying to scapegoat it. Or, if Michael Cohen's a scapegoat, he's a big-ass scapegoat.
Well, because everything leads to Michael Cohen. Even Manafort, Trump can get away with saying, I didn't know Manafort. I didn't know who the fuck this guy was, because for real, Manafort worked on Trump's campaign for 3 months. It was 3 or 4 months. And Trump was like, I'd never met the guy before. He was set up for me, blah, blah, blah. This is just, I didn't know what he was doing. This sucks. Sorry about it.
But
everything
gets trailed back to Cohen, who Trump's mentioned so many times.
But then Cohen comes in, and Cohen has worked for Trump for years, I think.
Yeah.
And he's been his personal attorney. And it's just a lot of these it would be one thing if Cohen was just handling and managing these situations for Trump. But there's a lot of money going to him, allegedly. There's a lot of money going to him, allegedly. And it all kind of centers on him. And I'm just I didn't want to sit here and buy into the Sean Hannity uses Michael Cohen. He's one of only 3 clients that Cohen has. Is Hannity getting access to the Trump administration, blah, blah, blah. And I'm I don't know, maybe, I don't know. But the more it progresses, the more money that seems to slide into Cohen's hands, the dirtier it looks. And it's so dirty right now. It is the swamp that Trump was talking about. So I'm not really sure how Trump's draining that when it's his lawyer.
It seems like he's draining the swamp of all of its resources, maybe.
He's definitely draining it to another location. It looks like it's Michael Cohen's bank account.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
And there's no way Cohen's keeping all that money for himself.
You can buy a good amount of cocaine and hookers for that. For the amount of money that Michael Cohen's been slid
You right.
in the back door, that's a good amount of cocaine and hookers.
Yeah. I think for me, it's like the.
Oh my God! What if Cohen was the one that fucked Stormy Daniels with a Trump mask?
Ooh, spicy.
Plot twist.
Trump's I don't even know anything about this, and Cohen was like, "Oh yeah, I just got her drunk and put on a mask."
Yeah, it's totally.
I could see that.
Behind Light Shyamalan.
I could see that.
Cohen's over there. It wasn't the president, and Trump is like, "Who the fuck is Trump?
Is that Stormy? Did I fuck her?
Did I?"
No. He's like, "No, you fucked someone else." I mean, no.
Stormy Daniels like, "It was the president," and everyone's right. I think maybe this is it. I think maybe that we just solved that.
So I think what's most upsetting about this for me is how sloppy it is. Like you said, there's the whole thing, with why you have to drink alcohol out of a bag, you know, that you have to give. Have you?
Oh, the brown paper bag.
Yeah, the brown paper bag.
I was like, you can do that?
You just pour it in a bag and drink it. I gotta try this. No, stop it. You're giving the police, you're giving people that illusion that it might not be that. You're at least keeping up appearances, and it's like they're not even trying to keep up appearances at this point, which to me tells me that they think none of this is going to come back to bite them. And if it continues to not come up and punish them in any way, then it's just going to get worse. They're just going to push the envelope farther.
Okay, let me ask you something kind of out of left field, because it is something that bothers me. These are all reports. What if none of this is true? What if this is just bullshitting? It's just... I'm not saying it's not, because it feels... I'm a little bit like, I don't even want to ask this question. But I want to, because I like being controversial. What if this is honestly what Trump is talking about when it comes to fake news?
First of all, I think it's funny that you being controversial is you saying, like, what if he isn't sleazy? That's controversial. That is
controversial because people would be
take it for granted.
Well, people, first of all, there are a good number of people who would like over that exact question.
Absolutely.
But the question is, if Trump is in the dark about these things, you know, Trump is saying that he paid Cohen a what is that? What is the word? Retainer or retainer?
Retainer.
Like in your mouth. You. I can't remember words when I drink. Which makes podcasting really difficult. Trump's saying that he paid Cohen a retainer, and it was way more than what Cohen paid out to Stormy Daniels through the agreement. And he's saying, and Cohen is saying that he, or Giuliani said, somebody said that the deal with Stormy Daniels was made through Cohen. Trump was made aware of the basics, but no real details, you know? So what if Trump honestly has no idea that any of this is going on and Cohen's honestly the bad guy? What does Trump do then? Because then he has the dual problem of being a participant without being directly involved, but he is the focal point of all of this, and Cohen's using him. That's a huge betrayal in Trump's camp, which means that his judgment, not so great, which a lot of people would be like, I can't tell you yet. We'll save your bullshit. All of this is going to Cohen, but none of this is going to Trump directly.
Honestly, it seems at this point like it being Trump, which is what people expect, would actually be easier for him to weather than it being Cohen putting one over on him.
Oh, first of all of this would have saddled like any other president would have been
gone.
Would have been gone.
Right, and that's I find that unbelievable. What the fuck happened in 4 years that this is not ruining his pregnancy? Okay, I've had most of a bottle of wine.
Listen, buddy, I'm not judging you.
Yeah.
I'm here for it.
That it hasn't ruined his presidency. It blows my damn mind.
And a brand new poll was released this week, midway through the week, so early in the week, that Republicans, for the first time, I think this was Reuters, that Republicans are in the lead for midterms.
Right. So they're going to keep...
This is crazy.
They might keep the House.
Well, what that is that's momentum going to primaries. But that is a very dangerous place for Democrats to be, because how do they argue this? And all of this factors in because all of these little controversies keep being released as we get closer and closer to primaries. That's why I had to ask that question. Like, is this just politics? Because if this is just bullshit being put out by like
the Dems or whoever, they're just throwing everything at him and seeing what sticks.
Because the polls are reversing. That's a very dangerous game to play. That's a very dangerous political game to play, because if none of this sticks, again, we don't have proof. There's no document put up with this. There's no document here. There's links to other shady shit, but There's no documents listed. So again, we're relying on a news source to give us the information, and it seems super shady and it's super crazy. And there's other things that kind of make it align, but we're not really sure. And then there's other things that kind of like make it fall into place when it comes to like cognitive understanding. And the question that it could be, yeah, exactly, Lou. There's questions that it could just be bullshit, and that's why I had to ask if it's bullshit, because this is a very hyper-political and hyper-fluid primary season going into midterms. And this could be the first time in a long time that a president has kept the House at midterms. If that happens.
I genuinely wouldn't be surprised if we can, even if we
Either
had,
way.
Yes. If it were true, if it is true, and he still keeps the House, I'm not going to be surprised at all. He's not fucking up like people thought he would. Everybody thought, oh, he'll only be one term. He's just going to totally shit the bed.
His poll numbers are going up.
Right. He's succeeding where a lot of people, one, thought he would fail or hoped he would fail, which is what a dumb thing to hope for. Like, he's still
politics.
the president. Yeah. I'm sorry. And like anybody who says hashtag not my president, that's a dumb thing to say if you're an American.
The resistance is dead.
Yeah, it's over. And I think that's why the polls are going up, because everybody who had all that vitriolic hate is just worn out, and they're done.
Tired.
Yeah. I have no idea who is going to take him down in another 2 years. Honestly, I don't see it happening, which is mind-boggling.
It's a crazy place to be.
He's going to keep going out there grabbing Kim Jong-un in the pussy.
Wait. We don't even. Well, first of all, that might be derailed. We don't know.
Yeah. We also don't have time for that.
We don't.
So
We don't have time to talk about his abortion thing either.
no.
All right.
I want to thank everyone this
He's
week.
putting abortions in the can. Protect your privates. I'm just kidding.
I want to thank
Do
everyone
whatever
listening for this week for listening to Boozed and Bothered. This has been episode 23 at this point.
Mi nombre.
Mi nombre. Well, actually, first, make sure to check us out on boozedandbothered.com. You can also find us on social media at facebook.com/boozedandbothered, Instagram at boozedandbothered, and bothered, and on Twitter at boozedandbothered. No and, just the n. Make sure to listen to us on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and you can also find us on YouTube. And well, I think that's all of it. Yeah. Great. And my name is Sean, aka Daddy, your co-host and producer.
My name is Jonathan, and I'm your host.
And my name is Robert, best friend of the show.
Thank you guys very much, and we will talk to you next week.
Bye.
I need another.